Remember that first fizzy sip from the milk bar? The one that tasted like pure Aussie sunshine and carefree days? G'day, you true blue legends of the sunburnt land. Today we're diving into a heartfelt countdown of the 15 lost Aussie soft drinks you'll never forget. These weren't just thirst quenchers. They were the bubbles of our youth, the shared sips at Barbies and milk bar hangs. Stick around as we uncover their stories, from humble beginnings to sad goodbyes, and relive the memories that still fizz in our hearts. Number 15. Passiona. Passiona. The fizz that could turn a dull Arvo into a summer memory. That purple label was a symbol of joy for every Aussie kid who just survived a scorcher on the cricket pitch. You'd grab a cold one from the servo fridge, twist that cap, and psst. It was like releasing bottled sunshine. The passion fruit hit you like a slap of summer, tangy, sweet, and a little wild, like your first crush at the local pool. It wasn't just a drink. It was a feeling. A sticky-fingered reminder that school holidays had started, that Mum couldn't stop you from having one more sip, and that the world still had color before everything went diet, sugar-free, and soulless. Passiona wasn't about being fancy. It was about being free. Number 14. V. Black, the Midnight Mate. V. Black. The midnight mate that kept us going when the world was running on fumes. Before fancy cold brews and hipster beans took over, there was this dark little tin sitting in servo fridges, winking at you under harsh fluorescent lights. It wasn't just a drink. It was a lifeline for night shifters, truckies, and tinkerers in sheds with the cricket humming on the radio. When it hit shelves in the early 2000s, the Black felt sharp and serious. That slick black can with the green flash looked rebellious, and one sip proved it. No sugary fluff, just bold caffeine bite that kicked harder than Monday mornings. You'd spot it in tradies' hands at dawn, or beside uni kids battling deadlines through the night. Today's energy drinks might brag about vitamins and vegan blends, but they've lost the grit. The Black had heart. Pure, no-nonsense Aussie determination in a can. Gone now, but never forgotten. Number 13. Tab. Now here's a name that'll jog a few memories. Tab. Not the betting shop mate, the cola. Coke's bold experiment from the late 60s, long before diet drinks were even a thing. Marketed as the guilt-free fizz for the future, Tab was low sugar, high sass, and somehow became the drink of rebels, gym junkies, and your auntie who didn't do full strength. It had that odd metallic tang, like cola with an attitude problem, but that was part of its charm. The pink can was unmistakable, cheeky as ever, like a rock star in a sea of brown bottles. You didn't sip Tab to fit in. You cracked one open to stand out. In the 70s and 80s, you'd see it glinting in servo fridges across the country. Then, poof, gone. No farewell, no fuss. Just a memory in the rearview mirror. Number 12. Surge. Now here's a blast from the late 90s. Surge. Coke's wild crack at taking on Mountain Dew. You'd spot that bright green can from a mile off, glowing like a servo beacon on a summer Arvo. It wasn't subtle. It was a citrus explosion, a sweet jolt that hit you like lightning through a straw. Every sip felt like rebellion, the taste of skate parks, LAN parties, and late-night Macca's runs with your mates. It came, it fizzed, and it vanished just as quick. By the early 2000s, caffeine scares and sugar bans killed the fun. But for those who were there, those jittery afternoons and neon memories. Surge wasn't just a drink. It was the spirit of a decade bottled in green, a wild spark from a time when soft drinks still had soul. Number 11. Orbits. Now this one'll tickle the memory banks. Orbits. Late 90s, shelves glintin' with bottles that look straight out of Star Trek. It wasn't just a drink, it was a show. Little cholesterol jelly balls floating in sweet, fruity liquid, half lolly, half lava lamp. Kids stared, parents frowned. And everyone who tried it remembers that odd, chewy surprise with every sip. Made by Clearly Canadian, Orbits landed in Aussie stores as the drink of tomorrow. You'd spot it in corner shops and servos, sitting proudly between Pepsi and cordial, its glowing beads dancing in the light. But the novelty didn't last. By the turn of the millennium, Orbits vanished. Too weird, too wobbly, too ahead of its time. Number 10. LOL Carbonated Fruit. Kicking off at 10, it's LOL Carbonated Fruit. Struth, what a spark. Born in the late 90s, peak in early 2000s, this golden circle gem, raspberry or lime, was bottled laughter for us old ducks. A Queensland icon since 1947, Golden Circle aimed LOL at kids, its name a cheeky nod to lots of laughs. Picture a sticky QLD Arbo, sprinkler hissin', your pocket money nabbing a LOL from the canteen. The fizz tickles your nose, mates giggling under a jacaranda, plotting adventures. Sweeter than a Lamington, it was childhood freedom. Summer in a can we'd cheer, hearts glowing with joy. By 2010, Heinz's takeover and school sugar bans axed it. No more LOL, just memories of carefree fizz. Raspberry pop was canteen gold. Quora pines for its fruity zing. Number 9. Oasis Still Fruit Punch. Oh, mates, this mid-90s Schweppes gem was a suburban legend, bursting with berry citrus goodness in quirky bottles that screamed Aussie summers. No fizz, just a smooth tropical hug for us old ducks, evoking Sunday picnics and family yarns knitting hearts tight. Schweppes, with roots back to 1783 but firmly Aussie since the 1800s, launched Oasis as a premium still juice line in the early 90s. Bottles rolled out from Melbourne and Sydney factories, bringing exotic punch down under. By the late 90s, it hit nationwide with over 50 varieties, juice bars brimming in supermarkets, queues at delis. Families flocked, lured by natural flavors, value, and variety. Above cordial, below fancy imports. Picture Blue Mountains outings, Nan unpacking the esky, handing you an Oasis while Pop spins shearing tails under Rosella-filled skies. Smooth as a coastal breeze, it washed down Lamingtons, tasting like home and love. Oasis in life's dusty paddock, we'd chuckle, hearts brimming with warmth and nostalgia. By the 2000s, Asahi's takeover and bottled water fads killed it. Reddit's mourns, that berry punch was after-school magic. Quora pines for its grown-up tang. Number 8. Mirinda Orange. Struth. This Pepsi-born gem from the late 80s was a tangy twist on orange sodas, hitting Aussie shores via licensing deals. Originally launched in Spain in 1959, it offered zesty bursts that won families' hearts with its straightforward charm. Less sweet than Fanta, perfect for quick gulps. By the early 90s, Mirinda partnered with dozens of KFC outlets nationwide. Sydney drive-thrus buzzin' as the top spots. Approachable prices, friendly chicken bucket pairings, and a sip above standard cordial made it a local fave. Humid Brisbane evenings, telly glowin' with hey-hey, Dad passin' a Mirinda as the family laughs over yarns. Tangy kick like a Whitsunday sunset, tastin' like adventure. Oranger than a mango, we'd grin, hearts knit tight. By mid-90s, Coke's dominance edged it out. Pepsi shifted focus in the late 90s amid low sales, shuttin' Aussie production. Number 7. Schweppes Cola. Few colas have had a rockier relationship with Australia than Schweppes Cola. The Schweppes giant first attempted to crack the market back in the 1970s, but quickly ran into trouble with local tastes. After tweaking recipes, Schweppes retreated quietly, leaving Australians without its unique herbal twist for a decade. In the late 1980s, the brand returned, this time determined to succeed. Outlets began opening around the country, offering colas with a sophisticated edge to a public still familiar with Coke dominance. Unfortunately, the timing wasn't right. By the early 2000s, Schweppes Cola had already disappeared from the Australian sipping scene, unable to build a lasting customer base. Ironically, just a few years later, herbal colas saw a niche revival thanks to local mixes, both of which capitalized on the demand Schweppes never managed to capture. While there have been whispers about Schweppes trying again in recent years, its early stumbles remain a reminder that sometimes a brand can arrive just a little too soon. Country music might lend nostalgia to some brands, but Schweppes Cola's story never found a lasting home in Australia. Known for its herbal spin on cola, sides like mixers and fresh twists, Schweppes gained traction in the United States during the 1990s. At its peak, it even became a pop culture note. But what worked as a novelty overseas didn't translate down under. Today, the brand thrives not in the West, but in select markets, particularly Europe. In Australia, however, Schweppes Cola never really took the stage. Number 6, Cascade Dry Ginger Ale. Remember the fiery kick mingling with pub mixers and the endless promise of a spicy quench? That was Cascade, a Tasmanian phenomenon that captured the hearts of Australians in the 1980s. Its story in Australia began in 1886, when the Cascade Brewery opened in Hobart, bringing a taste of dry ginger down under. By the early 80s, Cascade had become a nationwide sensation, with production lines across TAS and mainland, bars brimming with ginger ale, and queues at bottle shops. Families flocked to the fridge, lured by a winning combination of spice, value, and variety. A sipping experience positioned above cordial, but below fancy imports. For those who remember mixing ginger with bourbon creations, Cascade remains a warm, nostalgic memory, a fleeting taste of island brewing's golden era in Australia. But times change. By the 90s, tastes moved on to sweeter mixes and trendier ales. Struggling sales began to close lines, leaving just a handful in TAS. Then came corporate mergers, which sounded the final death knell for the dry variant. Today, former Cascade sites serve as craft breweries or lie vacant, while the brand survives only in core beers. Though still thriving in some markets, Cascade Dry's brief chapter ended in quiet fade, leaving little more than a memory of spicy bursts and island pride. If Cascade's fiery divide unites you, wait for number 5's crisp hero that'll refresh you footy arvos. Number 5, Mellow Yellow. Fair dinkum. If sunshine had bubbles, it'd taste like this neon yellow beauty. Rolled out by Coke in the late 70s as their cheeky answer to Mountain Dew, Mellow Yellow was a wild one. A lemon-lime rocket with more caffeine than your nan's tea cupboard. It hit Aussie shelves just as surf culture and BMX fever were booming. And for a few glorious years, it felt like the drink of freedom. Every servo fridge glowed with that yellow can. You'd grab one after a footy game or a long arvo at the beach, the cold fizz hitting your throat like an electric jolt. The ads were pure Aussie gold. Surfers, revheads, and bronzed blokes yelling, "Mellow out, Nate," as guitars twanged in the background. It wasn't just a drink, it was an attitude. Picture this: a sticky Queensland sunset, sand still on your feet, mates laughing under palm trees. Someone cracks open a can, that hiss cuts through the cicadas, and for a second, everything feels infinite. Summer, youth, adventure. But legends never last forever. By the early 90s, health scares and new clean trends rolled in. Coke quietly pulled the plug, letting Sprite take the reins. One day, Mellow Yellow was just gone, vanished from servos and schoolyard canteens alike. These days, you'll find old-timers on Reddit swearing it was the best bloody soft drink ever made. And maybe they're right. Number 4, Lift. Now here's a lemony legend that punched way above its weight. Lift was the kind of drink that didn't muck about. Tangy, crisp, and proud to the Aussie. No American gloss, no weird sweetness, just proper lemon bite that'd wake you faster than a kookaburra at dawn. Born in the 80s, it found its way into every milk bar, servo, and backyard esky from Perth to Penrith. It wasn't trendy, it was dependable. The taste of Saturday arvos, long clippings, and Mum yelling, "Grab a lift, love," after you'd mowed half the yard. You'd crack one open with a sausage roll in hand, that sharp citrus tang slicing straight through the summer heat. The ads nailed it too. Lift your spirits, and boy did it ever. Through the 90s and early 2000s, Lift was the quiet achiever. While flashy colas came and went, Lift stayed true. The humble working-class fizz that never lost its soul. But come 2022, Coke swung the axe. Out went Lift. In came Sprite Lemon Plus, all fancy labels and no heart. Aussies weren't having it. Social feeds filled with heartbreak. Folks calling it Mum's citrus love in a bottle. Lift wasn't about trends. It was about moments. Backyard yarns, Barbies, and mateship. It didn't just refresh you. It reminded you of who you were. Sunburnt, smiling, and proud to call this country home. Number 3, Lead Lemonade. Picture a time when crisp lemonades were still finding their fizz in Australia. Enter Lead, the brainchild of Coca-Cola Amatil, who in the 1970s launched their first batches in New Zealand before crossing to Australian shores. With a team of bottlers, they were hands-on, mixing every batch themselves at the start. Over the next decade, Lead grew into a mid-sized empire, boasting nationwide distribution by the 80s, even spreading briefly into Pacific Islands. Known for its approachable crispness and family-friendly vibe, the drink became a local favorite in both Australia and New Zealand. By 1984, Coke acquired the line, converting most to Sprite, while the original operation soldiered on until mergers took over. Eventually, Lead was absorbed into global branding, and the familiar logo disappeared from fridges alike. For those who remember the aroma of freshly squeezed lemons from Lead, it remains a sip of nostalgia, a reminder of a simpler time before global brands dominated the lemonade scene. Then came 1984, when the Sprite replacement sounded the final death knell. Today, former Lead recipes serve in fountain drinks or lie forgotten, while the brand survives only in memories. For those who remember chugging crisp heroes, Lead remains a warm, nostalgic memory. Brace for number 2's herbal star that'll raid your pantry memories. Number 2, Kirk's Cola. When it comes to colas in Australia, few stirred as much excitement as Kirk's Cola. Founded in 1930 by the Kirk family in Queensland, the brand quickly became known for its herbal tang, bright labeling, and bigger sips that challenged competitors at every turn. By the early 70s, Kirk's had expanded nationwide with a strong presence in regional towns like Cairns and Townsville, even dipping briefly into New Zealand. Its innovative, stubby bottles promised quick quenches, while family deals and community sponsorships made the cola a local favorite. Ownership changes in the 80s saw Schweppes take the reins, sparking a new era of expansion, redesigns, and flavor tweaks. At its peak in the 90s, over hundreds of stores carried Kirk's, making it one of Australia's top regional colas. But decline followed swiftly. By 2000, closures and financial struggles left fewer locations, and mergers absorbed the remaining. Today, Kirk's exists only in memory. Its herbal glow, family promotions, and stubby sips, a nostalgic reminder of when Aussie colas dared to dream big and stand out. Now, the King. A black label that'll define your summers. Number 1, Tarak's Black Label Lemonade. These once popular sips may be gone, but their memories live on in Australian beverage history. They were more than just quick quenches. They were tastes where families gathered, where kids created bubbles, and where a milk bar run felt like an event. Times changed, tastes evolved, and many of these icons slowly faded away. But even though their bottles have long since emptied, the stories remain. A reminder of a different era of fizz that will never quite return. Tarak's Black Label Lemonade. Remember the sharp bite mingling with spider scoops and the endless promise of a premium quench? That was Tarak's, a Victorian phenomenon that captured the hearts of Australians in the 1960s. Its story began in 1885, when the Tarak's brothers opened their first factory in Melbourne, bringing a taste of sharp lemonade down under. By the 60s, Tarak's had become a nationwide sensation, with hundreds of bottling lines, fridges brimming with stubbies, and queues at milk bars. Families flocked to the counter, lured by a winning combination of bite, value, and variety. A sipping experience positioned above basic cordials but below imports. For those who remember floating ice cream in backyard creations, Tarak's remains a warm, nostalgic memory, a fleeting taste of Victorian brewing's golden era. On Reddit, users share Barbie tales. Tarak's Black Label was supreme, bite-defining summers under gums. Quora evokes joy. It was pure bliss, hearts bursting with every spider. But times change. By the 70s, millennial tastes moved on to sweeter mixes. Struggling sales closed lines, leaving a handful. Then came 1972, when Cadbury Schweppes takeover sounded the death knell, axing originals in the 2000s amid greed. Today, former Tarax sites serve as warehouses, while the brand survives in faint echoes. Though recipes linger in home mixes, Tarax's chapter ended in a quiet fade, leaving a memory of sharp sips and pride. We've taken a nostalgic trip through these lost Aussie soft drinks, from bold beginnings to heart-wrenching ends. Which one stirred you deepest? Share your teary tale in the comments. Top ones get shout-outs next vid. Like, share with old chums, subscribe for more soul-stirring journeys. Until next time, stay thirsty for history, mates.